Hey there, how's it going? What is up, everybody? Irish Orangutan is back to pass along what you need to know to get better at Madden and grow your Mutt team. Enjoy the show. Today, I just want to let you in on some more information regarding training on how you have used that and how you can continue to use that in Madden Ultimate Team. I did kind of start the discussion with how it potentially has changed this year with it being in the store, and now with us having the ability to potentially make some coins off of that as well. Definitely check that out with how to get started with that training. But now I'll be taking a little bit deeper dive into these chemistries that you can put on your players once you do have them powered up. I'll be going in depth with those chemistries and then giving a brief overview of physical chemistries, superstar abilities, and X Factor abilities, but I'll be talking about those more in depth at a different time. But did just want to let you know what you can potentially do with your players. So we're going to be looking at the defensive chemistries first. Just wanted to let you know that along with your players, you can actually go over and add some of this to your uniforms, stadium, and also your head coach. I was fortunate enough to get 10 trophies. That's how you acquire Madden, but then you need 1,000 trophies to then add those abilities to him, so that will be taking a little bit longer. Thankfully, I've been doing a lot better in head-to-head this year, so I have had the opportunity to have more trophies, and we'll actually be having some weekend league rewards as well. Um, but yeah, along with that, you can just kind of add, depending on which uniforms and stadiums they are, if they're team specific, they can help out those specific players. But you can just add to some of these chemistries that we will be looking over for defense and offense this year to just kind of help out, get some of them up to 30 and completely max them out. So we'll be using Lawrence Taylor as an example. I'm going to be just giving the brief overview of what you potentially can do. I'll give the upgrade for the extra 5 to unlock this last Superstar X Factor. So to get things started, as you potentially start to upgrade your player, there will, when you're starting down here at 78, there will only be one option. It'll open up the second, and then the third, and then start going up to abilities, and then the Superstar X Factor. The first spot that you'll have open is potentially if you have this player as a power up, you can change what team he was on. If he was only on one team, that doesn't necessarily help you with that power up. Then the second place is chemistry, which is the main thing we'll be going over today. So I'll be getting into that a little bit later. And then the third spot is a physical chemistry, and we'll be going over those in a different video. And then next up, we do have the abilities. Here, as you can see, they are limited in that first spot. Add a few more in the second, and as you get to the third, there are more abilities, and the abilities usually are better, but those are based on his overalls and how good the player is. Not in his overall card, but in some of those overall specific categories. But we'll be going over that again at a different time. And then the last spot that you can add is the Superstar X Factor. As you can see, as you go up the chain, these are a little bit more expensive. The Superstar X Factor can be more and can be less depending on what you are looking at. The under pressure and X Factor abilities are the same. X Factor abilities you will not have all of the time, and with these abilities you can only have 3 players on offense and 3 players on defense that have any of these that do work, so keep that in mind when you are building them out. Don't have 4 or 5 people with secure tackler because it will not help out your team like it has in the past. But getting into these chemistries, what I've done to get started is put balanced defense and balanced offense on my specific team. When players get up to 88 overall, you can put times 2. Last year it was 93 overall. They get times 3, and then at 98 overall, they get to times 4. So as you get a better team, you can potentially have 3 or 4 chemistries. If you really max things out, 4. 2 comes pretty easily as you get a little bit further on in the year, but I'm still building up to 30 with one. With Team Diamond players, that will help out with this as well. But with this balanced defense, you get pursuit, play recognition, catch, impact block, block shedding, and man coverage. And as you go down, oops, excuse me. As you see, as you go down a little bit further, you do acquire power move and zone coverage as well. So it's just an array of different things that do come along with those, and they are very helpful to your team. In the past, there have been more, so this is a little bit more specific. And really, only 1+ overall doesn't help you out the most, but it does help your team out overall in a good way. Moving over to run stuff, if you're having issues against the run and not an overall defense, this is probably the place to go. With a lot of people having issues with that, this will just be more specific to what you potentially need. Tackling, impact block, pursuit, play rec, block shed, and hit power. So all those things can be very helpful in the run game, and if you're having trouble there, I would definitely add that. If you're not able to get to the quarterback, don't have any of those rushers with specific abilities to help you out there, you can have pursuit, press, catch, impact block, and then power and finesse move once you get up to the tier 3. We'll be going over tiers here in a second, but just wanted to let you know what these different things do unlock. And then for lockdown, as we get further on in the year, if you're having issues with the pass, you can have the pass rush and lockdown, and that will be able to help with the people up front and then the people back and behind as well. But with lockdown, it's probably a pretty good option right now, and then you can put some better abilities on your pass rushers and just help out your team. But catching, I don't think that's play rec again. We can check that out. But tackle, press, man, and zone, those are all things that will definitely help out your team, and just a really good thing to put on your cornerbacks and safeties and potentially linebackers as well, unless you are blitzing them like a Lawrence Taylor. But that wraps things up for defense. Want to look at the tiers a little bit and where I have those right now. Again, not focusing very much on raising these up, just kind of taking them as they are at this point. Once you get 5, you get to tier 1, 10, tier 2. So every 5 you go up to the increment of 6 at 30 players. And as you can see, that is on all my players, so all the players are highlighted. Mel Blount, I am playing out of position. And even if you are playing him out of position, that will help him there. But it does not add to that total. Do have him at cornerback, so it does help, but it just isn't ×2 or anything like that. And then over on offense, it does help as you get a little bit later on in the year, as players become more specific and you do have more slots for them to help out your team. But looking at offense, and the tiers are the same here, every 5 does give you that bump. But again, with these players, and this player specifically, I do not have the physical chemistry spot because I do not have him powered up, and I cannot change his team because I do not have his power up either. But I can add his superstar and other abilities since he is not an elite player. I believe at this time they're the ones that you cannot change. And I believe that is also true. I think legends are the ones that you can change up at this time. I know I was able to add an ability to Joy Bosa, but it was just one, I believe, and then his chemistry as well. So just be mindful of that when you are picking them up. It might be something you want to look on Mudhead before you do pick that specific player up. But again, this is laid out very similarly. Balanced O helps you out in a very large different array of things. That's why I was a little bit confused why Balance D was restricted a little bit this year, but as you can see, I guess your offense does need a different set of skills for each position. But if you are a power runner and just want to run the ball up the middle and need a fullback, power run is probably the best for you. Stiff arm, impact block, lead block, break tackle, trucking, and run block power. Zone run is a very good option. It actually helps out your blockers in most running situations with that run block. Carry is huge. Juke and spin are the ability to get around players. Elusive and run block finesse. Elusive is another huge one, so I would potentially take that over power run. And unless you are a heavy runner, I would probably stay away from power run as your second chemistry on top of zone run. Potentially balanced O would be a good second one, but play fake is very solid for that as well because you can do a lot more of the play action and have your quarterback and some of your wide receivers be a little bit better at some of those specific stats as well, and also pass block power. So if there are specific players that you need to have boosted, that does help out the most in that situation. West Coast, obviously, for a short passing game, catching is a huge plus. Short accuracy shouldn't really be much of an issue. Catching traffic, throw under pressure, short route running, so it does help out array of things. And the pass block finesse is the big one that does help out your offensive lineman. Go deep is pretty much for your quarterback. If he does not have the strongest arm, you do want to give him that boost with throw power. Again, with each of these chemistries, they are a little bit hindered from last year. Last year, you were able to get times 3, but this year you're just able to get times 2, and that does go for some other chemistries as well. But basically, deep accuracy, deep route running, and throw power are the main ones here. Spectacular catch is a big one as well. Um, but as you can see with the Marcus Allen, he is 88, so he gets the times 2 and also has the opportunity to just have times 1 if you don't want to spend quite as much on them. Balanced O does come pre-owned with these players if you don't want the times 2, but if you go up there, that was 15 for me. These are all 30. And each of these are 15. So it does increase, and when it gets up to times 3 and times 4, it is actually more than just say 45. I think it would be closer to 60 or 90. I don't have any of those players on my team this year because they are not available quite yet. But that does wrap things up for chemistries at this point. Definitely what you should be using a minimal amount of training on at this point. The other things are kind of scarce, and training is very expensive at this point, and players will be able to get some better abilities, but going over some of those better abilities at a different time and potentially what physical chemistries you should be putting on your team as training comes down and you acquire more coins. But again, I greatly appreciate you staying till the end. If you have any questions, definitely ask down below. But we'll be further explaining training as we go on this year. Wish you all the best and take care. Thank you for checking into the Irish Orangutan channel. Keep coming back for more Madden knowledge. There will be consistent videos up every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to see them all. Come by Twitch to engage and hit me up on Twitter at Irish Orangutan. Take care and much love, everybody.